What? I always think I've got the framing right, and then it starts recording and it's like cutting off the top half of my head. Like, why show me it? It's not gonna be in frame. Are you lying? Good enough. Good enough, I guess. Should I put it on top of a book? Whatever. Hello everyone. I hope you're having a great day. It is much earlier than it normally is when I record, but probably not that early for most folks. Sorry, just really enjoying my coffee. It's one of my little rituals, and I'm trying really hard to lean in to my rituals and being grounded. Anyways, welcome back to my channel. My name is CHATTY. My pronouns are they, she, and today we're just gonna do a quick makeup look. This is dangerous. I'm in a swivel chair and I'm notorious for fidgeting, and swivel chairs are the best for fidgeting. So apologies if that's constantly annoying you. This is my work chair and I'm kind of just set up at my work desk right now. It looks a little bit different than the other times that I've filmed. You can finally see my beautiful plant corner that I really love to have in my office. They make me happy. So today a friend of mine and I are gonna go out to work at a coffee shop, and I thought it could be a really cool opportunity because I haven't done makeup on camera here for a while. At the beginning of my channel, when I was first starting, I was really worried about doing too much makeup on camera, and then I was like, I've only done one makeup look on camera. That's the exact opposite of what I wanted. We're gonna do a quick makeup look. Today's look is gonna feature a couple of new products that I've got. Actually, quite a few because it's been a while. It's been, goodness. If you haven't seen Kiwi the parrot, you need to go see Kiwi. It's gonna feature my new Pride liner from Glisten Cosmetics, which I am so excited to use. We're also going to be using the Glisten Chroma Flakes in Snow, and I don't know if you can see this like holographic sort of unicorn rainbow color scheme in there, and maybe just a really simple face of makeup, probably not like a full face. So let me pull my stuff out. I need to run to the washroom, coffee, and I will be right back. Okay, so first things first, I'm just gonna start actually with a new product that I was able to get, lucky enough. Man, I'm nervous about these nipples slipping. Hey me, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna use this INNBeauty Project Face Glaze. I've seen so many people that I really like raving about this, so I'm just gonna throw this on. I have my skincare on, I also have sunscreen on, and I'm just gonna take this honestly for like the little bit of shine that it has. I kind of want to be sparkly today. Some places subtly, some places not so subtly, as you could see from the Chroma Flakes. Have I put too much on? So I'm just gonna give it a minute. Is it sparkly? I swear to God, whenever I put this on, I then have like sparkles, like little glitter, very like subtle glitter, if you can be both glittery and subtle, on my face. But when, like right now looking at it, it's not glittery. It's nice and hydrated, which is nice. Kind of like a primer. So I'm gonna let that sit for a couple minutes, and while I do that, I'm just gonna prime my eyes. This is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Eye Primer. Not sure how I feel about it. It feels really silicone-y. So I both use this and the Dewy Set setting mist from Anastasia Beauty Beverly Hills, and it usually helps most of my makeup not budge unless I'm like really sweaty, but I can't really tell if that's the Anastasia Dewy Set or if that's this, so we will see. I'm kind of worried about, yeah, it's pilling with the INNBeauty face glaze, and I think it is because of those silicones, or it feels really silicone-y. I don't know for a fact that it has silicones, but I'm just gonna let all that sit and take a sip of my coffee and then come right back when I feel like it's sunk in a little bit. I got distracted. Whoa, I wonder what that footage is gonna look like. Nothing. It's gonna look like nothing. Shit. Friend is planning her birthday party and we're gonna go to Phuket, Thailand, and we just got the package and I'm like very excited. So that sounds super bougie. I'm okay with it. I feel really lucky that like I now have friends in my life that are like, let's go to Thailand for my birthday, and I'm like, let's go to Thailand for your birthday. Okay, so have I had a booger in my nose the whole time? Yes, I have. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my eyes. That's actually gonna be the focal point, surprise, surprise, of the look today. I really love eye makeup. It makes me happy. So I'm just gonna go in with my bronzer, which is the Well People Bio-Base Baked Bronzer in Natural Tan. This is old, the old packaging. I'm not even sure if it's called this anymore, but it smells fine, it works fine. So I'm just gonna go in and lay a really basic base on my eyes. Not putting in a ton of work here, just trying to mattify a little bit so that maybe some of the, especially the chroma flakes, will stick just a little bit better. Once I see there is sparkles. Where are those sparkles from? Hello? Whatever. Yeah, and while I put on makeup, I'm just gonna talk a little bit, I guess. It's been hard over here. I haven't been doing very well. I feel like I'm coming out a little bit on the other side of that, but I couldn't have done it without my community. Honestly, I feel like I waited a really long time to talk to them about what was going on, which I realize needs to shift. You know, like I don't have to wait until, I don't know, I feel like I'm breaking down and I'm run down and lost and confused to ask for support and a place to just process. And that's kind of on me, but the last year has been hard. There's been a lot going on, both personally for me, medically, and mental health wise. You know, like I was diagnosed with a couple of things. I started on antidepressants, and I asked my doctor to look into whether or not I might have ADHD, and it came up pretty solid that I did. And as soon as I started like sitting with that, I realized that felt really, really right. Like it felt very, it made a lot of sense, you know, when you start to like, you start to see. I'm just gonna go in with some actual spray on these brushes because the Glisten Pride liner is, all of their liners are water activated. So I'm gonna go in with some water on the lid, which is what I kind of use as a mixing space, and on the brush a bit. Yeah, it's been hard readjusting, and there's been a lot of family stuff. I think in one of my first videos I was talking about my dad's surgery, and we got more news that was hard, but it definitely could have been worse, but it was just hard to hear. And then my dog got really sick and has been really sick since, and my live-in partner, Zach, moved to Peterborough for a soccer opportunity. So I was taking care of this super sick pup, and it just felt like no end in sight, because every time we would deal with one thing, another thing would come up, and that's still kind of happening. And so I think just with all the medical things that have been going on recently, for both myself and family and friends, not to mention what's going on in the world and all that, I think I just sort of broke a little bit, and it's been really hard to work it's been really hard to hold on to joy. Like, I'll have moments, but I'm struggling to, I gotta do this, 1 second. I'm struggling to hold on to them, and that sucks. It's a sucky feeling, obviously. It was feeling like I could still have those moments, but I'd come home afterwards, and not necessarily because I was alone. I actually really enjoyed having solo time. It's like one of the first times I've lived alone ever. I went from being with my parents to living with Zach, and traveling with him. Back to holding that breath whenever you do makeup. It's like I would come home and then I would just lose it, you know, like instead of that really fun thing filling my cup, it would just sort of pour out the bottom, which was kind of freaky, you know, like I felt like that before, but it went on for a lot longer than I thought it would, and yeah, I just wasn't doing really well. And so I talked with my community members, and I told them what was going on, and I initially reached out just to be like, what the fuck should I do? What's going on? You know, a lot of them do healing work, hold space for folks, are really spiritual, and have gone through shit too. I think that's why a lot of us gravitate to that space, is because we've gone through shit and we want to make it better for folks who are marginalized. We want to make it better for folks who fall through the cracks of the system, which is a huge majority of people with marginalized identities or who are experiencing marginalization. And so yeah, I finally this week sort of reached out, and I think a lot of it was out of guilt because my community is also the group of people that I work with, but we're community first and we do work second. So I had let them know earlier that I was still feeling really like exhausted and having a really hard time focusing on work, and they were really understanding about that and patient, and so I reached out again, and on one of our meetings we just pivoted and talked about what's going on with me. Okay, holding my breath. That's probably don't match. Yeah, we pivoted and talked about what's going on with me, and I literally cried for like 2.5 hours straight. And they made a really good point. They said that it sounded like what I was going through might not be like my depression, that it might be grief. And as soon as that was pointed out, that felt really true. Honestly, it just felt true. That so much had happened in such a short time, and so much had changed, and I had both like physical disability diagnoses and mental health diagnoses and gone on medication, and just so much had happened, and it was all sort of like fast, and there was always a reason. Okay, holding my breath one more time. There was always stuff that needed to get done, you know? Always things to focus on, something else that was coming down the pipeline. I never really had time to stop and grieve, and so it was all compounded. For the first time, it didn't feel all like compacted in my body. You know, like I knew that I hadn't been feeling good, but it's like I couldn't get to it. You know, sort of when like you know you should cry and you know that there's something off and you know that there's like something that needs lancing. I felt that, like I knew that there was something in there, and I just couldn't get to it. I couldn't like shift it or change it or like release it, and I think that's why I reached out to them. Was I was like, you know, this thing is just still sitting there in my gut, and they made a really good point that like when things happen so fast and you don't have a time to process and grieve one thing before the next thing, it all compounds, and it kind of gets like, you literally get like emotionally constipated. And honestly, just by being open and honest with them, I literally broke down, and it's like I cracked open. Like, that's kind of how I describe it, where like the right conditions meet and you feel safe enough and you feel seen enough that like all of a sudden it's just not hard to like for all your feelings to come rushing to the top. And 2.5 hours later, we got off the call, and it was hard. It was emotional, but it was also really, I felt like emptying out, sort of. Like, I felt really empty afterwards, which isn't a bad thing. It most, because like this thing had just been sitting in me for so long that to not feel as much of it, to like feel like that cup was emptied out and cleaned out just a bit, was kind of a relief. And I was so tired, obviously, because that's so much processing in obviously a very safe space, but it's just so much processing of all the things that have built up that I was just sort of exhausted, and weirdly did not nap, like just kept going on about my day. I guess I wanted to share that because things have been hard, and I think a lot of us, we can't reach out to people until we've got it figured out. That's something that I think I hold myself to, and I think a lot of us, even though we know we might be safe or we know people will be patient or whatever, it's like we want to save up our need for when it's really necessary, or when we've kind of gotten it resolved so we're not so messy. Like, maybe there's insecurity there about being a fucking wreck and like having snot running down your face and like being so messy and vulnerable and like insecure in front of people. I think there's lots of reasons why we don't open up. I think it's also been like societally frowned on, right? Like, we're supposed to have it together. We're supposed to figure it out by ourselves. We're supposed to be self-sufficient and not need anybody. That's what the society tells us. And I, for one, genuinely already think that that's a load of shit. But it's interesting to see, even though I recognize that that's conditioning, even though I recognize that that fully is against my values and literally goes against my work as a healing-centered coach, how it still permeates all the small ways that we interact with people and the love and care we allow ourselves when we're not doing well. Because if you had asked me if I would do this, I'd be like, no, I know better. But it's like such a slippery slope. I know better than to wait until I like literally can't, I've realized that I can't figure this out by myself, to go and lean on other people, to like actually let myself be, to raise my hand and say, hey, I need some support, instead of just mentioning that I'm not doing great. I know better than that. And yet it still fucking happened because it's quiet. It's very, I don't know how to word it. It's just something that happens slowly in small ways, and they're little thoughts that you have. It's not this major decision that you're not worth it. You know, that was never the thought that went through my mind, that it's like about my worth. It was just that, like, I guess I can figure this out. Like, I don't, you know, I've been here before, and it passes on its own, and I don't need to burden other people with it because I'm able to figure this out on my own. Yeah, I feel like that was kind of the thought process, was like, I've done this before. I don't need to necessarily lean on people for this because, like, I got this. And surprise, surprise, like, you can think you've got this all you want, but, like, I'm reminded again and again that just because you have been through something like this before, and you know that you can handle it, and that it's gonna shift one day, does not mean that you need to sit through it alone until that day comes. Because there's the truth that, like, you're probably just prolonging it. I don't know if y'all agree with this, but I really feel like, from my experience, I tried to do so much healing work, and I did do a lot of healing on my own, and I'm at the point in my life, and I think a lot of us reach that. We just don't know that it is such. And I'm lucky enough that, like, I had other people sort of tell me that, and then seeing it happen with others, where healing can't happen in isolation anymore. You reach a point where you do need other people. You do need to heal in community. You need to have safe, loving space held for you to get to those parts, you know, because sometimes we just will run on automatic, like life doesn't stop, you know, need to take care of the dogs, need to feed your body, need to go do groceries, need to fucking go for a walk, need to do your work, like you name it. There's things that need to be done, even like need and want to go hang out with other people. Sometimes it's really hard to prioritize emptying out like that and processing like that, especially when it feels really hard to access alone. And I've personally noticed it feels way easier to access it in the presence of loving company than it does when I'm all by myself. So yeah, I wanted to share that because I think so many of us are just trying to do it alone. And I commend you, and I think that that has its place in our healing journeys. I really do. And I think that's a temporary place if you want to keep healing. That's what I've noticed for me. It's what I've noticed for so many of us, is especially the folks who have ancestral history of community, which is all of us, let's be straight. Like, there's only so much you can do when you're alone. Your body, your DNA knows it needs others. And we're social creatures, and that's not limited to just having fun. That is also about how we grieve and how we process and how we heal and how we care. So I don't know if this is something that you're also experiencing, because God knows there's so much happening in this world. If you notice that you're grieving, if you notice that you are just tired and exhausted and like bone tired and nothing's really making an impact on either that meh sensation of life or the deep bone exhaustion that you're experiencing, it might be time to call on some community or join a healing space or an affinity group and take that leap, be brave, and be honest about what's going on with you, and hope that like there's a space where it can be held in this moment, because I think there is. And it's so much easier than holding it and trying to figure out when the release is going to happen on your own. I'm speaking from experience. Okay, so that's my black eyeliner done. I'm actually just gonna go straight in with the Chroma Flakes. So I have this idea of doing like a strip across my eyes. I don't know, I just wanted to like get funky today. I'm also gonna check my phone because my friend is supposed to be coming over for our coffee date. And I definitely talked, yeah, I talked a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna go in with the Chroma Flakes and literally just do a line. Distractions abound! I can't do this. Kind of like LeVar Burton from Star Trek. It's funny though, if you do record lower, you will see me touching my breasts a lot. That's kind of like a comfort move. I like my own boobs. I'll leave it at that. They're very comforting. Should I take that out of the recording? Yeah, so I'm just gonna start going in with these Chroma Flakes, and they have like a pink blue shift. I love it. I'm just gonna start going in, and I think I'm gonna see how it goes around. I'm gonna start actually like from the wing in and across and see if I'm actually gonna take it to the sides. So, oh my god. Oh my god. It's rainbow! It's all my favorite colors! Ah! My window's open, I hope no one heard that. Okay, so, can you see? Oh god, so good. Maybe I'll just leave it at that. No, I want to be epic. I want to be extra. So I'm just going in with a first layer. This is just sort of to like set my shape, and then I'll probably build it up. Okay. Okay, I'm going for it. I'm gonna go in for it. Oh, I should probably do my eyebrows too. Okay. You can't even really see it, but I don't really care. Okay, one thing about the Chroma Flakes is while they're drying, they're pretty sticky. So just a word of advice, I'd say give them some time to dry down and like just look down for a while. But also, I'm planning on using my Kosas Cloud Set powder to just kind of not mattify them, but to just help them set. Because I did that with the last time that I used these, and I didn't notice that it retracted from the sparkle. I thought it still came through pretty strong. and it lasted all day, and the stickiness definitely went away. So that's my word of advice in using these. They are phenomenal though. Oh my god, so phenomenal. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Are you seeing this? Okay. I don't know what to do. I don't think this looks as cool as I thought it would, but it's still pretty great. So I'm happy. Do I make this? See, like, can you see my eyelid sticking? Just probably not, but you can, but I can feel my eyelid sticking a little bit. Maybe I'll take it under? That might look cooler. Why is it so low now? Okay. Okay. My camera turned off for a bit. It's an internal temperature too high. I have to look into that. And I did a little bit more. So I felt like the sparkles across the nose didn't make sense. And so I pulled a page out of Gabrielle Alvarez's, Gabby's playbook. And I put some like liner across my nose. I'm using the trans colors, the trans flag colors that are added into the inclusive pride flag, because trans people are fucking beautiful and deserve to be centered, and I stand with trans folks. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up now, and you can see I did pink on one side and blue on the other. And what I'm gonna do is a little bit of white because this is snowflakey. So I'm gonna go in with the white. I'm gonna add some white lines to this and maybe go back in with pink afterwards. And I'm just doing this. Okay, I don't need much there. And it's kind of covering up the sparkles, which is fine. I'm not too worried. I can put some of the sparkles back on top. And I'm gonna go in with the white again and do this. There you go. So I've added the white under the blue on this eyeliner, which you can barely see, but that's fine. I'll take a close-up shot. I'm gonna do it, I think. Great. So last but not least, I'm gonna go right back in with the pink super quickly, just to add back in some more of those cool lines. Literally, that's it. So that's my eye look. I'm going to take a quick beat and throw some more of the sparkles on. I'm not sure why my camera's heating up though. I swear, I solved one issue and then issues abound. So I'm gonna go back in really quick with the sparkles. Sparkles, hello. Actually, I'm gonna do my mascara while I wait for those liners to set, and then I'll go back in with the sparkles. So far this is a look. It's something, that's for sure. So I'm just using the Big Mood mascara from e.l.f., which is phenomenal. And these lines are not perfect by any means, but like, I don't care, because if someone's looking and they're like, oh, her liner lines aren't perfect, I would genuinely give them a lame face, which is like, what does your makeup look like? Have you tried to play this hard with fucking liners and sparkles and shit? Then sit down. You do it, and then tell me how perfect your liner is. Yeah, I felt like just the sparkles on the nose were a bit plain or like unobvious, so I went in with the trans flag colors because A, like I said, we are aligned and allied, and B, they also, I think that's why I picked the snow chroma flakes, because they also match. It's like white, blue, and pink. So that's the first layer of that. While I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes because that went by quicker than I thought, but I'm gonna go in and just do a little bit of bronzing and a little bit of bronzing and a little bit of blush. And I think the only other thing that I might do is like maybe a little bit of concealer. Oh, I need to be nicer to this brush. I'm not too worried about concealer because like if someone's like, oh, she looks tired, or they look tired with this under eye look, I mean with this eye look, I'd be like, you are not paying attention to the thing I have put all the effort into today. Also, I slept great, thank you for asking. So going again back in with the Bio Baked bronzer, and I did while I was off camera, set with the Kosas cloud set that I have, and you can see like still really shiny. Nothing has kind of been taken away by using that. That's why I love that powder, is it can in the situations you want it to, it can add just a little bit more brightness and coverage, but when you want it to just play nice with like sparkles and stuff, it will also do a great job just sort of setting that down. So, and I'm a firm believer, especially because this is a nice subtle bronzer, that it's hard to put on too much. And if it looks terrible on camera, that's fine. That's fine, I guess. I'm gonna do some quick blush. Blush. Brush. 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 Blush. Brush. His surface has gotten messy quickly. And I'm using the Kaleidos blush, the like Kaleidos hot pink blush that I've just been loving it, and maybe, you know, I'll probably pivot back to my Phytosurgence blushes shortly, but this has just been fun. I think there's something really gratifying in being not white and being able to fucking wear pink, hot pink blush. I think I never expected that my face could do that, that my skin tone could do that, and now that I recognize that it has, that like, I don't know, you have to be so mindful when you're picking colors, because it's undertones and different skin tones are very infrequently actually taken into account when cosmetics are advertised. And like a lot of these channels, even though I love watching them, they're like white folks, right? And so there's this like, correct me if I'm wrong, other people of color watching this, but like there's this sense that you have to also like be really careful about what you get, because there's not a lot of representation for like every fucking skin tone, and you could end up spending money that doesn't get used because you saw something, you fell in love with it, and it doesn't apply to you, and you had no idea because you didn't get to see what it looks like on a person of color who looks like you or has similar skin tones or undertones. So I don't know, there's something gratifying in like taking the risk. I wish I didn't have to. Like I wish I had known before that a hot pink blush would for sure work on me, and I didn't, but so I didn't know whether or not I was wasting money. But like coming back into it and being like, yeah, oh my god, it looks great, and taking that risk and then having it pay off feels so nice. But I did want to name that element, that I think as a person of color, there still isn't enough representation for all different skin tones and undertones, and so a lot of the times you are sort of like risking it to, you know, like that saying from Fired Up, which is weirdly one of those like movies that I always think about, like you gotta risk it to get the biscuit. So I'm just gonna go back in with the Chroma Flakes over the Pride liner that I have in the middle here, and I hope I don't smudge it too much. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I smudged it. It's fine. Okay, great. Just a little bit extra, just when it catches the light, just to see how it feels. Let me see what I think of my face so far. I mean, dark circles abound, but I'm fine with that. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of Kulfi eyeliner. This is Nazar No More. This will be the first time I'm using the black, and it's just gonna be for underneath, just at the outer corners. Yeah, oh god, their eyeliners are so lovely. I want them all. Okay. that is my eyes done. And my last finishing touch is gonna be, I'm gonna go in with the INNBeauty Project Glaze number 5, which is fruity cereal. I was like, again, this is bright pink. Is this gonna work on my lips? Probably not, but it's fruity cereal, so I'm gonna use it anyways. And then lo and behold, it's not too bad. It's like not overly hot pink pigmented. So it does work on my lips, haha. INNBeauty Project Lip Glaze, you are phenom. And last but not least, I probably should have done this before my mascara, but I'm gonna do a quick dewy set spray. And I focused it mostly where I've got the most makeup because I really want that to set. I'm not gonna use concealer today because I just don't feel like it. I'm happy with my eyes being slightly dark underneath. And that is my look for today. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed watching me once again fumble through and sort of play and create. You know, I probably should go in with a plan a lot more, but I really like following, just being in flow when it comes to makeup. I think it's one of my favorite parts, is that it's just a creative process of picking one or two things, or an idea that you have, one or two things to use, or an idea that you have, and just seeing what happens. I love that, you know, and if it doesn't work, I'm probably still gonna wear it out because I put all that effort into it. So if you liked this, please go ahead and hit the like button below. If you haven't yet, I would really appreciate it if you subscribed, but also no pressure, you know. If this isn't the spot for you, I get it. Sometimes we're funny and sometimes we're funny and sad, and that's real life, and I think we get to be full humans here. But if that's not your jam, I got you. Sometimes we just need places that are cheerful, and I need those places too. So I hope you have a really good day. Drink your coffee for me. Think of me while you drink your yummy coffees and teas, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.